Holy cow, I just had to wait about 3 minutes for YouTube to go live. Sorry. I was a couple minutes late, but I've been waiting. I've just been watching YouTube live spin around, trying to go live. So, all right, rock and roll. Here we are. Welcome back to the 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐵𝐝 show, where we cover Bitcoin and altcoin and cryptocurrency prices, and we try to learn how to both analyze charts and trade together. And let's just make sure we're careful if you do. So one thing I wanted to talk about before I get going here, got the wrong background, I need a crypto background. One thing I wanted to say though is, on my channel, I've been going over a little bit more into futures and what that's like, particularly entries. And I want to let everybody know, and even though I've reiterated this adamantly in most of my videos where I even mention the word futures or leverage or entries, TA is totally different from trading. And just because you think you have good entries, can everybody hear me? Yeah. Just because you have a good entry setup, if you don't know how much leverage to use or you don't know how to use risk management, even with good entries and a good understanding of TA, all the money in your futures will disappear if you don't understand risk management. Yeah, risk management. Your profit taking strategy can come last. You need risk management and entries first, and then profit taking. So whenever I mention what an entry looks like in futures, I'm giving a teaser only to trading on leverage. That's only one element out of three needed to have a sustainable, profitability, time with profitability. So I want to be very clear with that. And even if you are developing a system and you're new to it, I cannot stress enough, start with only $100 to $200 in your futures account. All right, if you're trying to implement trading, making money off of your TA abilities after you cut your teeth on it for several months, and you don't, so I cannot stress this enough. What I'm telling you is accurate, and if I don't like to blindly trust people, but I'm telling you, you'll be better off just blindly trusting what I'm about to say if you're newer to futures. Is with that first $100 to $200 in futures, if you're trying to build a system, the game you play is not how much money you can make. So you only want to start with $100 to $200. Rather, the challenge you give yourself is how many trades can I get with this first $100 before it's gone? And it's similar to going to a driving range. It costs, 25 to, if you live in California, it's probably 75, but it costs about $30 for a big thing of balls to take a lot of practice swings, right? So how many good shots can I get out of this bucket of balls with my new freaking driver, which I keep slicing it, right? So if for golf or, for example, for an analogy here, that $100 is essentially your bucket of balls. How many good shots can I get before that bucket of balls is gone? That's the game you want to play. And on maybe the fifth and sixth bucket of balls that you get, or the fifth or sixth time that you fund futures with $50 or $100 or whatever is a small amount to you, right? On that fifth or sixth time, after now you have 100 trades under your belt, right? So hopefully with with $100 in 5 times, hopefully you have 100 trades by then. Then maybe start anticipating, okay, maybe I should, maybe I've grown my account and I never went back to zero. After I turned $100 into 1,000, I didn't then lose it all, which is probably a process a lot of you have gone through if you tried it. You think you're a genius, then it all goes away. So you have to go through that process multiple times before you get it, I promise. And but after you realize, wait, that $100, I didn't just get in 30 trades, like I've sustained it for, 3 months. Right? And that's the point where then you start trying to actually make money from it. So that's the journey, the challenge that I present to you for anybody new. Now let's jump in to Bitcoin. No further ado. Perfect timing. Okay. Yeah, so I've been bearish this whole time, or actually more sideways movement, anticipating sideways movement. Let me get off my proprietary 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐵𝐝 ribbons here. I've been, let's see, was it my May 24th video? My May 24th video I made about here. So on May 14th. So sorry. Today's May 24th. 10 days ago on May 14th, I made a video saying Bitcoin, I think the title of it was Bitcoin will move sideways at best for the next 10 to 30 days. 10 days later, we've moved sideways. That was honestly among the best analysis I've ever done. In my year, let's see, how many months? 15 months of YouTubing. That's probably the most spot-on video I've ever made in retrospect. Because I rarely anticipate sideways movement, but I could see it coming from a mile away, and that's precisely what happened. And I even mentioned, I think it's going to pop up to close to 32K. Got it only up to 31.3, but it hit the same triangle that I had put in that same day. You'll see me put in a triangle if you rewatch that video. And I actually do recommend, even if you already watched the video, I recommend you go back to it because, and I might even, for the recording, even though this is this live, but for the recording, if you're watching this, I'll try to put a link up here. You can click that, and I'll try to link it to you at the end if you're watching the recording of this. But it's important to rewatch that because in the future, the same thing will happen. The same setup will happen. So even though you won't find it valuable to like, oh, it already happened, like why would I watch this? Well, it's because in 6 months or in 12 months, this will have happened once or twice. And when you are clicking around with your money, it's important to understand that because you can't make as much money if your profit-taking strategy isn't on par. So sideways movement means when I get into a trade, I'm taking profit by the end of the day or after 2 4-hour candles. And that's what we've been doing as a community. I keep stressing on Discord. So links to the Discord look like this within the description section if you haven't checked that out. But I've been stressing on Discord. Doesn't matter if you're long or short. Just make sure you're taking profits aggressively and not trying to get a big trade to the upside and let it rip, right? So it might sound boring to rewatch analysis that is calling for sideways, but the implications of that analysis is huge. Because, like, let me show you in the chart. Let me show you something. So if you were planning on shorting here, and then let it rip and never take profits to the upside because you're not anticipating sideways movement, you'd be back down to 0. And then it goes up again, then back down to 0 because you entered here, right? Your entry would be down, why do I not see my rectangle? Look, all those times, you'd be like $500 up, then back to break even. $300 up, back to break even. $350 up, back to break even. Instead of $500 up. Cash in. You're not at the top, but somewhere from here to here. Cash in. Boom. Higher low, hit it. Cash in $100. Or maybe short here on the lower high. $200 to the downside. Higher low here. Get in after a few green candles. So it's a lot different. So the implications of understanding when price is going to go sideways is huge. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of difference. And honestly, I've made, and through the community, at least I personally, and hopefully people who followed my alerts within Discord, I did very well throughout this, especially from about here on, maybe here on. Yeah, I mostly did shorts the whole time. I didn't play it much to the upside because there was too much threat of it breaking down, but I traded to the upside. So I took profits and looked for higher low, re-entered. Took profits or got stopped out in profit, waited for a higher low, come down to the base, higher low, re-entered. And so I don't know if I'm supposed to really show live trades, but I just had a VIP call. Right? I just had a VIP call at 5 p.m. I entered them live. And look, I entered all of these during that call. I'm like $1,000 up. And so, it's important to understand what you're looking for. Yeah, $1,000 in an hour is pretty freaking good. That Luna trade was badass. Man, that was a good trade. Yeah, I just entered all those positions, and I don't think I'm supposed. So that's not technically live trades because all those I'm already in. And they're going. They're about an hour and a half old. But anyway, so I recommend you watching that analysis because in the future it is very, very important. I was killing it to the downside, but I knew to take profits because I knew it was going to be choppy and sideways. So that's the importance of understanding when things are going to go sideways. All right. Why do I think, so I made a post on Twitter and YouTube publicly about, hey, I think we're getting ready to have a pump to 32K. if you're on Discord and or the YouTube tiers, so the YouTube tiers, if there's a join button, it might not be below the live video, but on the recording or most of my non-live YouTube videos, there's a join button right below. If you click it, it's not going to take your money right away. Another video will pop up describing what I give you, but you can essentially expect about 10 to 14 updates on price action a week, essentially. So you're getting extra information above and beyond. It's often 2 to 3 a day. I think today it's been 3 for the YouTube tiers, or for the Cryptillion YouTube tier. But so that I have more details on why I think this, and I'll go over some of them here. But I thought for, free content, I would let people know, hey, I think things are about ready to bust up. I think it has a good chance. Not certain of it yet. So therefore, something like on my $500 Luna trade, I might move my stops up so that if it tanks, I'm at least $300 in profit when it closes out, right? Something like that. I'm going to be defensive because I'm not certain of this. But what I'm feeling is this. Looking at NASDAQ, I got this feeling like 3 hours ago. I let my community know here, like before anything special. So it was roughly here. I was getting the feeling. But simply zooming out. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. See this? This is a very, very important. Actually, I'll zoom more out. Watch. Let's get the bigger scope. This is NASDAQ Composite Futures. This is the median line where price historically, and probably in the future will too, it always goes back to the middle line. If it goes too far below, it comes up to the middle line. If it goes too far above, it goes back to the middle line, right? And these are like your tropics, right? So equator, the tropics lines, right? At 23.5 degrees latitude, I think is exactly what it is. And because the tilt of the earth or whatever, right? So that's essentially your tropics. And price of this fell below it, and it's all essentially one big run. If you zoom into the 1 hour chart, yeah, there are a lot of valleys, and you can see it technically going like this. You can see it correcting to the upside and go down, yes, but on the daily chart and below, it's one move to the downside, essentially. It's one move. And so after it missed this, it looks like now, especially with the idea that Yahoo Finance and maybe even the government was trying to push bearish news and stuff, this seems like the absolute perfect time for a bull trap, to trap people who are thinking, hey, it's back up to the moon. And I think NASDAQ at least will go up to this point. So let me zoom back in enough to trick people before it continues down. See that? So I think it's going to meet this local high or go just above. So I actually am going to should I delete this? No, I won't delete this. I'll make a box. My black boxes are usually I'll do it between this wick high, or this wick low, and that candle body high there. And I think it's going to fake out, make a local higher high, and then potentially resume aggressively to the downside. So let me make this a black box. Background black, opacity this, and blue. That looks sexier. All right, that's what I'm targeting, and that's a perfect bull trap setup. And so the reason why I think this is because it looks like it just, I don't know, to me it looks like it's slowing down, and on Bitcoin, there are some huge signs that it's getting ready to pop up. Is this, the daily RSI. If it were going to correct, it would have probably done it by now. So because this tick or this tick did not go below the EMA, I think it has to hit its head on the red line or the white line before it goes back below its EMA. I don't see it going. All these higher lows and using this as support, that's a lot of higher lows. So I think it's got to hit between here and here. And so essentially, I will. This is when I would start getting interested in closing my longs or stop trading long and try to transition potentially to lightly trading to the downside. But this is what it looks like. And on the 12-hour chart, it's pretty similar. Look, so it looks like this wants to go above the white line, something like this. So for the 12-hour chart, I think it needs to go above. Like, this is not bearish. If it were going to break down, I think it would have done it. So now that it's gone all this way up, for the 12 hour, it's probably the white line or above. And the daily, it's going to be the red line or the white line. So go back to the daily. I think that's what will happen. I think it has to bump its head on something on the RSI, and I think it's at least going to be the red line, and that would be 32. At least 32K Bitcoin. So there are a lot of things in the chart saying, especially on these time frames, the daily and the 12 hour, it looks like it wants to have a fake out to the upside. The 2-day is not agreeing, although you do have one higher low here. This is not calling for too much upside. But if the daily does get that, all this would mean it's still within the rules of continuing going down later. It's because this is the 2-day chart. It would just be something like this. It would only be like 1 or 2 ticks above that line and then go like this and then break down. Something to that effect. And that would be, like a week or two. Yeah, that's almost a month. See that? That's almost a month. And this on the 2-day, going above this EMA here, like so, it's only 1.5 ticks, right? And that would be easily enough for 32, maybe even 33 to 35K Bitcoin. I'm more targeting 32.6, and so let me show you in the charts what I'm seeing. On price action, I'm seeing the first move getting above the weekly open line, which is right here at 30,000, roughly 30,300. So 3,300. It's actually a little under, but I see price zooming immediately up to this line. I would guess it's going to get above it and then use it as support. So something more like this. And then it'll have one more push up and maybe even a third. So it's going to have like 1, 2, 3 pushes up. And similar to NASDAQ, this would be a high, just barely higher than the recent local high back here. See that? Similar, a structural fake out similar to NASDAQ. And that I'm not dead set on this happening, but I see it as such a strong possibility that I switched from being bearish and trading to the downside to trading to the upside, and this is what I got in an hour, like an hour and a half, right? And again, I'm not supposed to show live trades, so hopefully that doesn't get me in trouble. But those are stale, like they're an hour and a half, 2 hours old. So that's what we got. And I flipped on a dime, and this is why. Okay, so I just showed you, like I made $1,000 in an hour and a half. So all those people who say, yesterday you're bearish, you're flip-flopping. Yeah, my flip-flopping just made me $1,000 freaking bucks in an hour. How did your flip-flopping, or how did your stubbornness and not changing your position go? Like, for short-term time frames, it's okay to reverse on a dime. You just need to know how to make money from it, right? Because if you don't do it when you're supposed to, you're going to lose money. But, like, this is money talks, folks. Like, you're supposed to switch on short-term time frames. Your short-term outlook should be short-term. Therefore, one day to another, it's okay to change, right? And, so like I look through the comments, whether it's on Twitter, I know who my trolls are, so I kind of ignore them anyway. But people who are new and sincerely don't understand, they come on my channel as noobs, thinking I'm the idiot, and they make those comments, and I try to reach out to them, not in anger, but it concerns me that they think that they're right, and they are so confident with their lack of understanding that's arrogance. So ignorance plus confidence equals arrogance. And so if you're confident, you need to know what you're talking about. You need to know what you're talking about. But there's so many people come on like, oh, you were this and that, like you just switched. Yes, of course I switched. But I'm trying to, that's how you make money. You need to know when to switch. All right. So that's what I'm seeing. It's mostly from the daily RSI and the 12-hour RSI. It is saying that this wants to rock and roll, and NASDAQ kind of supports that. It's given a little swoopy bottom action here. It looks like it wants to be done, just structurally. Now, should this be wrong, that's why for these positions, I will move my stops into profit. So even though I'm $500 up on Luna right now, and I will probably move my stop so that if it tanks, I'll still make about $250 or something to that effect. So even if I'm wrong and it just tanks, I still made, out of all this, I'll probably lose half of those profits, but I still made $500 from being wrong. When have you made $500 from being wrong in a day? Right? Like, it's okay to be wrong. You can make money when you're wrong, as long as you're right short term for a short term move. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing, and again, I could be wrong. I'm not overly confident with this because there are, I guess, minutes coming out and maybe some other retailers who are coming out with earnings report. But I think the big ones, so a couple of VIPs today who are much more knowledgeable on those matters, and they stay in tune with the Fed and all that stuff. They educated me today on I think Best Buys was today and some more smaller ones tomorrow. So this reaction, I think, will be sustainable. I don't think this is a fake out to the upside before, Fed news tomorrow and then it tanks, which happens. You often can get a pump on futures before they know that it's getting ready to scream down because they have insight. A lot of people have insider information in traditional markets, right? So they'll run it purposely the other way before it goes that way so they can make money both ways. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think this will be a sustained rally. It'll be a corrective move, but yeah, that's what I'm seeing. And again, I'm not totally confident with it, so I will protect those profits to some degree in case I'm wrong, and I'll still be making money when I'm wrong. So hopefully I'm trying to, hopefully I'm doing an okay job connecting the dots of how do you make money from TA, right? Because it's hard. It takes a lot of practice, folks. And this is what we do, much more intimately and with very specific entries and stops and even though I don't give a lot of profit taking tips because that's what VIPs jump on, like, hey, when should I take profits? But stops or entries and risk management we focus heavily on in Discord. So if you want to learn, go ahead and join the Discord and we'll get you rocking and rolling. As long as you put the effort in because it's going to take about 6 hours a week. So if you don't have 6 hours a week, then learning a new skill set is probably not for you at the moment until you can find 6 hours a week. Because you'll probably want to join some live calls, at least 3 a week, which will take 3 hours, and then practice for 3 hours on your own. Rock and roll. So that's all I got. I'm feeling moved to the upside, and I think I've explained how I would protect myself if I'm wrong, and I'll still make money when I'm wrong, and yep, those are my targets. Until things reverse to the downside, I'm going to stick with the idea, until proven otherwise, that this local high will be tested on this move up, and on Bitcoin, the local high from May 10th, more back here, will be tested on Bitcoin, which would be about 32K, and it aligns with my channel a little bit. So let's put in my trading channel here. It's a daily update. What am I doing? Where is... Am I on the wrong thing? Okay, I'm having a male blonde moment. There it is. Yeah, this would be breaking up and out of the channel. Which, I mean, it looks like what's going to happen. It could, and then, and that would be another fake out because a lot of people are looking at these lines or lines similar to this, and a lot of people are looking at this horizontal. So if you break above it, that's a perfect bull trap. You have different types of people, and I bet that's roughly where the weekly 10 will be too. It's going to fake out. If this move were to happen, it would be such a brilliant bull trap because you're going to have so many different groups of people seeing something similar for different reasons. Let me put on the weekly 10. I almost bet. I haven't tested this. Actually, or maybe I did. Maybe I know because subconsciously I already know that's where it's headed. Hold on. Let's put on the weekly 10. So let's project the weekly 10 out. If it goes up there, it's going to go even higher. It will hit closer to 33K. It'll probably hit closer because if it gets all the way that close to the weekly 10, it's going to wick up to the weekly 10. Most of the price action might be between 32 and 32.6, but it'll wick up to hit that probably around 32.9, 33. Yeah, it would at least give it a try because it would want to fake that group of people out who are concentrating on this too. And you could even get a daily closure above for a nasty fake out. Like you could get an end of day attack where the day just closes and then the next day it goes up even more for the first hour and then just plummets. That would be like if I were a whale and I had, like $100 million book, I would probably try to get Bitcoin to do that if I had a team who could, essentially print price paths at a whim for short-term price action. I would do that. That would be a nasty, nasty fake out, and I can feel it coming. So that's what I'm seeing in the charts. Yeah, so I'm more targeting 32 to 33K. And yeah, so I'll get to your questions here. And wow, my Luna's up to $700. Gee whiz. Yeah, good thing I flipped. Good thing I flipped. That's a good fast trade. Man, I haven't had one hit that hard in a while. Up 54%. All right, so I'm going to start taking questions now, and yeah, we'll rock and roll. How low can MATIC go? All right. So somebody's asking, how low will MATIC go? And I'm going to let you know that right off the bat. So before we look at charts, listen to me. We'll just imagine this. For anybody asking a similar question, you go from the wick high of 2021. So that's either going to be in April or in November, most likely, depending on the asset. Some assets in March, actually. I think BPRO hit it on March 16th. But usually you look for April or November, whichever where it made high, measure down 95%, and that's your base. It could go a lot lower than that because 95 to 99% down, that's like a 75% difference. It's huge. It's not 4%. So I know 95 plus 4 is 99. But if an asset goes down 95%, stops, and then that's your zero line then, and then goes down another 70% from the original wick high, that's 99%. So the difference between 95 and 99 is huge. It ain't 4%, it's more like 70%, right? But just to get an understanding visually of where it's likely going to go on anything, measure from the wick high of either April or November, most likely, down 95% to get an understanding, and then start adjusting your guesses from there. That's exactly what I'm going to do. That's what you should do on any asset for this bear market. I'm telling you, it'll work. It'll give you a good understanding. And so, I cover like Veracity and Trias and Multivac more than pretty much anybody out there. Who else gave you bear market targets of Trias at $1.40 or whatever when Trias was still at $12? Or who was giving you, Veracity targets way down, 95% down when it was still, up at how many cents was it? Like 3 cents or something. I think I was the only person on the planet who speaks English who made videos like that, because it's in the way I did it is not complicated. The way I was able to anticipate those super low prices before any other content creator is literally measuring down 95%, because I know that's where it's going to go. All right, so let's do that for MATIC. And again, it's an important question, so I'm going to cover it, even though I don't think you were you didn't do I don't think that question was from a community member or a super chat, but it was a very important question, so I'm going to cover that first. Let's go to MATIC. And again, you can do this on any coin, I promise you. All right, I'll go to the daily chart. Bear target. So I drew this a long time ago. So I imagine it's close to 95% down, because I wouldn't have drawn it there had it not been about 95% down. So let's do this. I had actually a team leader tell me, damn, you should use the magnet. It's a lot better. And it kind of is. Ooh, that's only 88% down. It might be too high. Yikes. So I don't know. That's not quite 95. So let's just follow my rules here. 95% down, hold it, and it usually aligns with something structurally, I'm telling you. So about 95% down. So I'll do it on both sides here. So from a structure, let me zoom in here. So without measuring down, I would guess that this would be it. MATIC was a very strong. Is this MATIC? You asked for MATIC, right? Yeah. How low would MATIC go is the question. MATIC was an extra strong coin during this run. Gee whiz, 18. I didn't realize it went up 20,000%. That's insane. Wow, 200, almost 200x. This MATIC is such a strong project and did very well this time, and seems to still be rocking and rolling, where it could be an exception to the 95% rule. And this structure could allow it to land there and end and stop and early recover, right? And that could be the bear market bottom. So I would say around 32 cents is extremely likely to happen. However, if this economic recession pulls NASDAQ, it's very likely going to. If NASDAQ goes below 9K, which I'm pretty certain it will over the next year and a half, and Bitcoin cannot separate from NASDAQ, it's going to hit the lower box. So my analysis on this, to answer your question specifically, I would say one of these two boxes, and I'll try to label these. So about 15 cents. So I'll just label these roughly from the middle. 15, yeah, right at 15 cents. I would say the bottom of this, though. I would say it would hit the bottom. Let me actually do this. I don't think it has a chance to stop at the top. Or 32 cents. And whichever one it hits, okay, it's likely going to be dependent on how long Bitcoin stays coupled with NASDAQ. Because I think if it can't decouple and NASDAQ keeps going down for over a year, which I think it will, Bitcoin will probably hit 12K and MATIC will probably hit 15 cents. But honestly, if you are in Tether, you should honestly be rooting for that. Because when it goes up next bear market, it's just going to be that many more X's that you get. So really, you should. So that's why I don't understand it when people say, "Ha ha ha!" Like, you said Solana under $30. Ha ha. Well, first off, I'm probably right. So you're laughing at somebody who knows a lot more about charts than you do. But second off, why would you root against me about Solana at under $30? You want that. If it goes when it goes under $30. And you buy it under $30, the next morning you're going to make more money than had the bottom been 80 or 60. Because if you buy it 60 as opposed to 30, right, and then it goes up to $120, you only 2x if it bottoms at 60. You 4x if you bought it at 30 and it goes to 120. Why would you root against making more money? I don't understand why. So I get so many comments laughing at me. I know half of it is because folks have never seen a bear market, and it's really hard to imagine. I get that. I know that part. But why would you want to root against it? You're rooting against making more money, right? So anyway, that's so let's take a look at the chart for people who want to snapshot this. Let me get rid of a dollar. I don't know what that $1.49 is there for. Yeah, these are my two bear market targets, and it would depend on if Bitcoin could decouple from NASDAQ or not, as NASDAQ makes its journey below 9,000. And that's my answer. So that's MATIC. All right. That was a very, very important question. All right. Ark's No Genius. All right. So we got a community member asking about XLM. They seem to be going for South America. Yeah, so is Dash. Dash is more used in South America and Central America, both independently and together than Bitcoin. Yeah, South America is a great target market. Yeah, it's honestly a great target market. Even though I wish some type of transactional-based coin would target Venezuela primarily, but Venezuela, the people have essentially black market U.S. dollars, so they're getting by on currency okay. What is this? Mana. Oh, yeah. So Mana already hit my 2022 bear market target. All right, so you said XLM. Anyway, so let's take a look. I'll look at it on Coinbase. I don't know what your question is exactly, but so this met almost all-time highs of 2017. All right, XLM. So somebody's asking about XLM. All right. I think your general question about XLM was more, I think you're trying to take bullish news during a bear market and think, oh, it's going to pump. News doesn't really do much during a bear market. That's only bull market stuff where, you can, it's like trying to make a 6-month to 8-month-old baby laugh. You can literally just go like this and the baby laughs when they discover how to laugh, right? So that's how mass market psychology and noobs, or just even experienced people anticipating noobs buying, any type of news that drops, it's like making a 6 to 8-month-old baby laugh. You can just go like this, any news, partnership with, a company who doesn't even know our name, but we're going to call it a partnership because they answered an email. They responded to an email. That's a partnership, that's what is happening a lot of times with crypto partnerships. If they get an email answered, they'll call it a partnership and it goes 4X. So that's bull market. Just because, XLM or any type of asset is, announcing big news during the bear market, it's not gonna do much. You can get a 10 to 40% pop maybe on a large cap, but so don't expect it to change the trajectory of this. So per my thing on XLM, I just measure down 95%, make your box from there. Does it align with anything horizontally? Lo and behold, look at that. Yes, it does. I would guess XLM actually doesn't go down. I would guess this will be closer to a bottom. 6.2 cents. I would target this. I don't anticipate it going 2 origin lines below. I think it will hit 1 below. Since the high was like 3 below the origin lines on the height, I don't anticipate it going 2 below this. It could. So yeah, I would do the same thing for XLM as I did with MATIC. I would say, if Bitcoin can decouple from NASDAQ as NASDAQ goes below 9K, if there's a decoupling, which I think there will be, but I don't know because it's never happened before, this would be your bottom target. And if Bitcoin cannot separate, it's going to go here, down to 3.8 cents. So around 6.5 cents or closer to 3.8. Depending on if Bitcoin can separate. That would be my bear market targets for XLM. I'm actually going to go ahead and add this to my watch list here so I can save this chart. And but on current price action, should Bitcoin go up to 32K? Let me see. Let me give you some targets here. Because honestly, XLM really is a very, very handy asset. I mean, for transferring. So I typically transfer money from exchanges in Litecoin or Dash because it's fast and it's extremely cheap. But I mean, a lot of my VIPs and Discord community members specifically use XLM because they say it's almost instant and it's almost free. This is a very handy asset to have, even if you're not trading it. I mean, if you need to move money around exchanges, XLM is a great option. Anyway, outside of that, where would this come up to? Should Bitcoin go up to 32K in my guess of where this might pump? We go to let me measure percentage basis here. %, would be more like 20 to 30% on XLM. Yeah, right at that line. So I would say if my thought process, and again, I'm not super confident with this analysis that Bitcoin's getting ready to make a rally to the upside, not a reversal. I'm not thinking a reversal. But if Bitcoin really does rally to 33K, I could see XLM hitting 16.3 cents right there at that box. So if we zoom out so you can see what this looks like. So that aligns from a percentage basis and it aligns structurally, it would hit that line, right? Because I mean, this line has gotten a hell of a lot of action. I mean, look at it. Let me make it stand out like a sore thumb here. Boom, boom, and boom. Yeah, this is a really important line. So it's probably going to hit that from the bottom. Yeah, this actually might be like the master origin line for XLM. That might be the most important line out of all of them. Yeah, so it's probably going to hit that if Bitcoin does rally. That would be my very, very clear target for that. And from a horizontal standpoint, what does it align with? Look. Ta-da! So it's just going to come test the bottom of this formation from which it broke down, which also hits the master origin line. See that? So, and from a percentage basis, it makes absolute perfect sense. Because if Bitcoin goes up 10%, XLM will move up a little bit more aggressively. Well, that's not actually a totally safe bet, though. However, it does align structurally. If Bitcoin dominance takes a leg down as Bitcoin moves up, then XLM will probably hit that. So it's not, I'm not guaranteeing that level is going to be hit, but structurally that would be my target. And if I were in a long trade or a spot trade long or whatever, and I want to know when should I start becoming interested in becoming a seller into the rally, I would be, I would either target around 16.4 cents, 16.3, somewhere around just in the low 16s, or if it comes up shy like this, I would sell a lower high like that. So as it made a lower high and starts ticking down, you can't see my freaking chart. Sorry. If it came up shy to that box, I would sell on a lower high like this right there. As it starts heading down, it came up shy. So it could come up shy, especially if Bitcoin dominance chooses to continue going up as Bitcoin goes up, but oftentimes during a rally, Bitcoin dominance will go down because altcoins move a little faster and they gain a little bit on Bitcoin. But it is possible Bitcoin dominance does rise as Bitcoin goes up and it comes up shy. So that would be my target, 16 cents and change. And that's what we got for XLM, both short-term and long-term for the bear market. Right. Okay, gosh, I need to answer these questions a little bit more briefly here. All right, we'll work with Mercado Bitcoin. Going for South America. Digibyte, please. All right. Well, hey, welcome, Journeys with Chuck. Welcome to the YouTube tier. So, all right. I'll skip down to, I'm skipping over some questions, but Journey just joined. So, okay, he's asking a question, then I'll go back up. Thoughts on VRA short and long term? Seems as though it's 100% controlled by bots and whales with no natural. Yeah. So, somebody's asking about VRA short and long term, mentions about bots and all that stuff. Yeah, so when trading volume is low, so what I'm about to say is not VRA, but VRA people, listen, and everybody else, listen to what I'm about to say. What I'm about to say, it makes perfect sense on the why the bots and trading bots makes up most of trading volume. Okay, so when people are new to crypto, they use CoinMarketCap, or some variant of it, and a lot of the reason why the top 20 coins stay, it's not 100% why, but there might be a couple coins out there that I picked on a lot that have been in the top 20 for 4 years, and this is probably the reason why. When new people come, they want to learn, what do I buy to make money? Well, most people don't like to read. So they don't go past page 1 CoinMarketCap. Right? That idea, plus trading volume on across an exchange. If you like a coin that you heard about on YouTube and you wanted to learn where to get it, the same concept applies to the exchanges. So it's up top on the list. So when you hit market on coin, actually maybe I can just go to CoinMarketCap and I'll make my face small. So before I get into Veracity, even though this is more of a overall thing and I'm not looking at Veracity, this applies to Veracity. So if you look at, actually let's just go to VRA. Watch. It happens because there is incentive. I promise you. So KuCoin has the most trading volume, and they're up at the top for the trading. So it's by trading volume, right? So if you learned about Veracity and want to know where to buy it and hit market, KuCoin's first. And so all of these other exchanges want to be close to the top as well because people don't like to read. They want to go to what's the highest, what's the top. And so there is huge incentive for bot trading from exchange bots, not people's bots, not whales. A lot of this is the KuCoin's bots, I'm telling you. And yes, that is, I'm not accusing anybody of illegal activity, but that is my understanding. I like KuCoin, so I don't want to say anything. I don't want to blame it for doing anything illegal. I might have just caught myself. So I'm not making any accusations here, but there is incentive for bot trading because of this exact thing. They want to be close to the top of the list, so people use that exchange to buy it, right? So that explains that there is incentive for bot trading. Okay? All right, awesome. I love KuCoin. KuCoin people, please don't slap me on the hand. That's my favorite place to trade. Yeah, I really like KuCoin, so hopefully I didn't say anything that bothers anybody. All right, so going back to Veracity, long-term and short-term. Take a look. Come on, Timmy. All right. Remember, I made this bear market target when Veracity was way up. It was after this flash crash. I made it here. You didn't see any other content creator put boxes down here that early back in December. Not a single person, right? And Trias already hit that. I did Trias, Multivac, and Veracity at the same time. So long term, yeah, Veracity, honestly, it's going to hit this area. Extremely likely. Could be and so why do I say that? So here's a pop quiz for everybody. Even if you're not a Veracity fan, important question I have for you. Why do I feel that the targets for Veracity to the downside, even though that's a big ass range, I mean that's probably like 100%, right? Yeah, that's look, that's an 80% range. It's huge, but it's extremely likely. Why do I feel more confident in my Veracity bottom area than most other places, most other assets? I'm very confident that will be hit. Here's why. Look left. There's nothing here. So now that it's already below this, look, let's zoom in and use this as resistance. It's already gone below it, got rejected by it. There's nothing here. So now that it got rejected, it could form a higher low and get out, but it's probably not going to happen. It went below, got rejected. It's coming down here. Because there's nothing over here. Look, there's nothing here. So when you think, where are people going to step in and be buyers? The most obvious thing to do is look left. Look for structure and price. There's no structure. It just went straight up. So it's going to go, it might not go straight down, but there's nothing here to stop it from doing it. It could mosey its way down slowly, but it's extremely likely to hit this box because of this. It was just such a nasty run up. It was huge. I remember I 3x'd on that move and got out, and then a lot of Veracity people were like, "You're ridiculous. You should have held longer," and this and that. But in that case, I should have. But most cases when I sold at the right time. Here I did sell way too early. It went a lot higher than I thought. But heck, I got my 3x, and I didn't know anything about Veracity. I didn't realize how cool of a project it is. And for a small mid cap like this one, this honestly, this and Mover I think this might be in a different class of Mover from a market cap standpoint. But this is like a large small cap, and Mover is essentially a small mid cap. Is more of a mid cap. This is a small mid cap. But for mid caps and derivatives of mid caps, anything close to mid cap, those are probably my two favorite, Veracity and Mover, from a personal interest standpoint. So I don't own any Veracity right now, but you can bet your bottom dollar that once it hits this, assuming it does, with the idea that I'll be right here, I will be buying Veracity somewhere in that range. I don't know exactly how I'll do it. I'll probably do a Discord update on my strategy, whether I will do an equal distribution of like 50 different limit buy orders here, equal distribution, if I will do an upside down triangle. So I train people on this within my Discord community on how to buy stuff, like different patterns, or if I would do a diamond, so by biggest orders in the middle, kind of hedge your bets. I don't know which strategy I'm going to use. And honestly, I think I have a video on this that's free information within the Learn Trading stuff. It's one of my older videos, but if you want to learn how to put in limit orders, both up or down, I have a video on this, and it's within that playlist. So I won't go into that exact strategy on YouTube for free, but once that happens, once we get to bear market type of targets, I'll let folks know exactly how personally I'm buying it, or my second most favorite way to purchase an asset in a range. And that's what we got for Veracity. Oh, no, you said short term. All right. Short term? Yeah, I could see this. If Bitcoin does go to 33K, 32 to 33K, this will probably go up 20%. This could, no, it'll probably be closer to 15. I don't think this will outpace Bitcoin too much. No, it could actually. This is saying it'll go up 30%. So yeah, I think it would rival these local highs here, and that would be about a 30% move up. And I think it would go above this line, then come straight back down. So that would be short term if Bitcoin truly does get a pop. All right, and Yeah. All right. So before I get Theta, America, I did skip a couple of community members. Let me get to somebody. So you're a soldier said sup. So all right, Flux. Okay. So UFOs rule. I will do Flux for you, and then I'll go to the super chat here. Because one of the benefits of being a paying a tier member on YouTube is I try to get your questions first. That and super chats. All right. So. Gosh, this asset looks... All right, we're going to look at Flux. Whew. Man, honestly, Flux might make my list of small caps that I'm interested in. I think this is a small cap. What was I seeing the other day? I saw it was either on-chain data. It wasn't price action data. But Flux was number 3 on the list under 2 huge names that have market caps like 50 times bigger than this. I can't remember what it was, and I don't even know what Flux is doing, but whatever space it's in, whether it's layer 2 or layer 1s, I don't know what it is. But in the list of competitors on that parameter, it was it might have been money locked in the project, something like that. It was number 3 out of similar competitors, and its market cap is way smaller than the top 2. So Flux, honestly, I wish I could remember what it was. I just saw it the other day. I should have taken a snapshot of it. I could still see it in my mind because I got mildly photographic memory, but I can't read it. Can't remember the words. I can still see it, though. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Anyway, so Flux, gosh. If Bitcoin does go rally up over the next 14 days to 33K, I would say it'll rival that wick high right there or slightly higher. It could actually, because there's nothing between that wick high and essentially this bottom area. So it might overshoot my target. There's a wick here. Yeah, that might actually do it. Right there. So I would do from that wick low to this wick high, that box right there. So short term, if my feeling that there's going to be a rally, my loose feeling, I'm not super confident. If that's accurate, this will probably hit this box. So from current price, that's a 35% move. That's very tradable. That's probably exactly where it's going because of those wicks. Those wicks are going to hold heavy weight, those two. So it will sell off there. It could form a higher low and then go higher if Bitcoin continues up to like 35K. It's possible, but I would become a seller at 95 cents. So, but from 91 or 92 cents to $1.01, I would become a seller in this rally. So that's short term. Long term, I mean, I've heard a lot of, even though I don't know what Flux does, I mean, this could be a small cap candidate that doesn't go down 95%. It is. I think this project is kind of starting to make a name for itself, even though I haven't done my due diligence to read on it, because I try to commit myself not to do market research on coins until at least a Bitcoin's bottom is in, even though I'm not. So I'm still on Flux, but just for everybody else, including Flux people, all the market research that you're doing, you could be wasting a lot of time because by the time Bitcoin bottoms, your altcoins aren't done bottoming. They're going to take another year. And that's when a lot of projects die. So why not wait to do market research until you figure out which things are going to survive, right? Anyway, that's my take on that. So that's kind of my excuse for being a YouTuber who does cryptocurrency. I don't know jack shit about this coin. I've covered a lot, at least price action wise, because I'm not gonna allow my bang for the buck right now is not in market research. I don't think it's good bang for your hour. I would rather make money trading than doing research right now. Because I don't think research will pay off quite yet. It'll be another year and a half or so. So this would be my baseline target. However, because Flux, I think is an okay candidate to not hit the 95% target. We'll look left. Where do you have price structure above that? Here. That's all you do. This is literally your 2 bear market targets. That's all you do. As you're down 95%, does it align with structure? Yes, it does. Perfectly. However, this is holding up pretty well. So if there's a second option that I could have that's less than 95%, I have to look left, because any bear market bottom is going to stop somewhere where there's structure. That's just how it works. It'll always work that way. Because that's when people become buyers. That's why it works. because people are looking at it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If enough people are seeing the same thing, it will move price in that direction, period. And you want to trade the same way other people are trading, at least in short-term time frames. If you're actually trading. Investing, maybe not the same. When everybody's selling, that's when you want to start being interested in buying. So from an investing standpoint, what I just said is inaccurate. From a trading standpoint, you do want to do what everybody else is doing. But the key is you want to see it before they all see it. You want to understand that everybody will be seeing the same thing before they all see it. Does that make sense? All right. Yeah, so these would be my two targets. Let me label these for you. So I'll just label the middle. So that's 35.20. Again, this is just the middle. So it actually goes up to 39, but anyway, the middle. And then the middle of this is right at 17 cents. And again, this could be similar to my MATIC from earlier in the stream, where if Bitcoin cannot separate from NASDAQ, and NASDAQ really does go under 9,000, which I really think it will, if Bitcoin cannot separate, then this would be the more likely target. However, if my theory is right, that both NASDAQ will go below 9,000 and Bitcoin will separate it before it hits like ultimate bottom for traditional market recession, then this would be the bottom. And yeah, so that's what we got for Flux. It's a good project, folks. If you don't know anything about it, me included, this is one that I feel is gaining a lot of steam in the crypto community. And, I don't own this, so I'm not shilling something I own. I don't own any of it, and I don't think I ever have. I might have traded it somewhere back here, though, on this higher low. I might have done that in November, maybe. But yeah, this is potentially one to look into, and if it fits within your crypto strategy for next bull market, you might want to wait for 35 cents to be hit before you seriously consider, going heavier into it. All right. Okay, let me go back up. Go down to that super chat, Theta. Okay, and then let's look at Theta. Do I have more people on this call? I got a lot more questions than usual. All right. Oh, it's because I'm doing this at a different time. All right, I'm looking at Theta here. I'm going to have to stare at this for a second. It looks like it's going to go up pretty nicely with Bitcoin if Bitcoin moves up. Okay, don't ask me what this is on my chart. I designed this myself, and I let VIPs within Discord use this stuff. That makes sense. All right. Theta short term. I think it's going to rival that wick and this wick. So I did an analysis under the conditions that Bitcoin really does rally up to 32 to 33K, which I think is happening now. If that's correct, then my target would be between that wick high of May 13th and that wick low of May 9th. And that would be a rally just above this median line, and it would hit that gray line that I traced out. So everything seems to be aligning towards that. So look, everything's aligning. So I would because of that, let me zoom in. I would make a smaller box here, and I would assume that the average, the velocity with which it moves up might be closer to this. So I will make this box smaller, and I think it'll hit that level during these time frames. How much cushion did I buy myself? That's a 3-day time frame. So, yeah, I'm buying myself a 3-day window, and that would be my target. Let me tell you what the range is short term. And again, this is if my loose and only mildly confident analysis that Bitcoin's getting ready to make a move up to 32K. I could easily be wrong. I've been very clear about this. I'm not uber confident that's what's going to happen because this is a choppy market, but I'm thinking that's about ready to happen, right? All right, so with that assessment, this would be my target. I'm not guaranteeing this is going to happen, right? This is based off my mildly confident idea that Bitcoin's getting ready to have a corrective rally up before moving down. So this target, the range would be 152 to 1615. Oh shit, I'll just make it fit in the box like that. There we go. Right there. Should hit somewhere around May 27th, May to May 30th. Yeah, May 27th to 29th is when it would hit that target. Now, bear market targets for this, though, I mean, it's probably just going to stay in this channel the whole time. So I think I already have my bear market targets. I think these are bear market targets. For 2022. That should be in August. Yes, perfect. Is that about 95% down? So long-term analysis on Theta. Look at that, 95. Yeah, so these are bear market. So you're getting extra content here. These are my bear market targets for Theta, but in the immediate term, I think I would become a seller around $1.55, somewhere in that range, $1.52 to $1.61. That'd be a good time to be looking to be a seller of the rally, which is a smart thing to do. And so last thing, even though this is non-Theta related, what I'm about to say, apply this to all coins. So what I'm about to say is, I swear it's valuable as long as you listen and you learn, you know roughly how to apply it. Buying the dip is the same thing as selling the rally. Buying the dip is the same thing as selling the rally. You don't buy freaking dips in bear markets because it's going to dip and dip and dip and dip more, and you'll be at a 90% loss. You buy dips when Bitcoin's screaming from 10K to 40K, then crashes 33%. Buy that dip, yes. That's when you buy dips. But in downtrends, if you've caught some higher low and you get a rally, you sell the rally before it continues going down more if it's a clear downtrend. They are the same concept. It's like a magnet has two poles, north and south. Buying the dip and selling the rally are together making one magnet. It is the same damn thing. Similar to how electromagnetism is the same thing mathematically as electricity. It's the same thing, but from a different point of relativity. But mathematically, it's the same. It's hard to understand, and honestly, from a math standpoint, I never did the math on it, but I read, what was the book I read? Brian Greene's Elegant Universe, I think, was probably where I got that info. Anyway, but it's the same thing. Selling the rally is the same thing as buying the dip. I can't stress that enough, and that's Theta for you with extra cool information on top. All right. Okay. All right, let me make my face small before my dumbass forgets that it's there. All right, that was Theta. And that was the super chat, so thank you for that super chat. I appreciate it. All right, Flux. Okay, so who did I skip? Brokoshi no dinero. Hey, Tim, always appreciate your expertise. Can't stay too long, though. Have a good... Okay, thank you, Brokoshi. Nice to see you here. And thanks for dropping by, even though you couldn't make it, whether you're hearing me or not. How high can DA dot and Trias go if we break... How high can DOT and Trias go if we get a... Oh, okay. All right, perfect. So if this were to rally, so that's a good question. If Bitcoin were... Ooh, everything's red right now. What's going on? Hold on. Let me check the market. It looks like that could have been a fake out, and I might want to take profits on Luna quickly. Give me a second. Yeah, I won't be greedy. I'll take it at about $550. All right, and rock and roll. It looks like my wife wants me to be done. All right, let's see here. closed positions. Oh, 603. Perfect. All right, awesome. So I closed out Luna. I might want to close out. It looks like the market's actually, that could have been a fake. I might be wrong. But let's go ahead and, yeah, I can set my stops later. All right. Okay. I forget the question. Sorry. I had a lot of money on the line there. Sorry. What were we looking at? Oh, DOT and Trias. Okay, I'll do these. Who else am I missing? VRA, short-term, long-term, Theta, please. Welcome. Hey, America, welcome to the Cryptillion tier. Yeah, so make sure you're checking. So if you just joined the Cryptillion tier is the one that gets a lot of updates. It's essentially the same updates and alerts. Like, they're not trading alerts for futures, but you could use them as such if you know how to trade. But it's mostly Bitcoin and NASDAQ updates that I give. And it's oftentimes 2 to 3 a day. Sometimes it's only once. And on a Sunday would be the only day I go blank on no updates at all. But, Monday through Saturday, it's 1 to 3. So make sure you're checking YouTube for those updates. It's a post that is only visible to the tiers. All right, so I'll get XDC. Harrison asked for XDC price target on a rally. And then somebody asked for Trias and DOT, and then I got to go. Okay, so how high can Trias go if Bitcoin were to rally to 33K? Wow, my brain was not working right. Okay, so it's a 10% move up on Bitcoin. So where I'm going to start with this, similar to how I start with bear market targets, is I measure from current price to 33K on Bitcoin is roughly 11%. If Trias can outperform Bitcoin, which it probably will on an up move, and it'll underperform Bitcoin on a down move, I would guess somewhere between 15 to 30%. So hopefully 15 to 30% falls between this wick low and that wick high is what I'm hoping for. And if that does, it's going to be my target. If it's not, then I'll have to reassess, right? So what I'm doing is the idea that I think Bitcoin could rally up to 33K. I know it's about 10 to 11%. Usually when Bitcoin races up, altcoins slightly outperform it. And it's not guaranteed to, because Bitcoin dominance could go up as Bitcoin goes up. And I'm making the guess that Trias, with a 10% Bitcoin move, Trias would go up between 15 to 30%. Hopefully that aligns with these structures that I'm just showing here. And when more and more things align, that gives it more likelihood of being accurate, right? Being good analysis. You want a lot of things kind of aligning to the same thing. So from wick high to here, right there, and hopefully that's somewhere between 15 to 30%. Ta-da! Right in the middle, 22%. So yeah, I would say it would go up to this yellow line, $2.51 for Trias. And you already know my bear market targets. So since it's already hit it, it is possible that Trias wicks significantly below. But once the dust settles on crypto and if it consolidates around here, like, this is just going to be such a good range to pick up Trias. You don't worry about getting ultimate lows. But if you join the Discord and you're worried about, because a lot of people are planning, I actually have a team leader, 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐜𝐸, who he is taking charge on essentially making a list of coins that we're interested in, and we're making strategies for buying somewhere close to the bottom. So we're essentially databasing where we think bottoms will be and how to buy them up. And so, for example, the strategy here, since it's already hit this, I'll just give you a sneak peek of strategy we discuss in Discord. Even though I'm not leading this this charge, one of my team leaders is, because he wants to rock and roll on this. So we would get an idea here, and for Trias, we look at it already hit. So with the idea that it could go lower, we would begin stacking. This would probably be more like an upside down triangle. So small orders here. And you'd probably have to spend an hour and a half or maybe 30 minutes putting in a bunch of limit orders, bigger as they go down. And if it only wicks to here and starts going, then you cancel these orders that didn't fill and then just market buy right there on a higher low. That's it. So that's a specific strategy for buying. So maybe I shouldn't have done that on YouTube, but whatever. That's where it's going to bottom anyway. It's pretty obvious. But specific buying strategies, that would be a specific. idea of how we do stuff on differently on Discord versus YouTube. So I just gave you a sneak peek there. But for Trias, the area is so obvious. I don't think I'm hurting anybody from Discord who wants to play on this. So that's Trias. DOT, how high can it go? So how high can DOT go right now if Bitcoin does go up to 33K? I would say DOT would also go up between 12 to 15%. And hopefully that aligns closely with this high here. So, because I think Bitcoin will rival its previous daily high. It could actually go up to here, but I would guess somewhere between there and there. For this rally, I would more guess this, because DOT's been underperforming Bitcoin both to the upside and to the downside. So I would actually guess pretty confidently here at 1177, but let's measure to make sure it's roughly 10 to 15%. Look at that, 15%. So yeah, if Bitcoin goes to 33K, DOT is going to hit $11.75, and that you would want to become a seller into that rally. So this is obviously Pokemon cards only, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. We are talking about Pokemon card trading with polka dot Pokemons. Okay, Charizard has polka dots on him. You just have to use a magnifying glass to see it. But Charizard and Squirtle have polka dots. All right, so polka dot Pokemon trading cards. That's 1175. I'd become a seller into that rally at that point. And so bear market targets. I think we already discussed this on DOT a million times, but 95% down is at the bottom of the chart. Like, yes, it is very real that DOT can go all the way to its lows. It could be a candidate for not going 95% down, but 95% aligns with this. So this low is a very likely target for bear market bottom, and that's closer to $4.70. So don't be surprised if it even makes all-time lows, because that's not even 95%. It's only 92%. So it could go down to $3. It could. However, DOT, I think people would come in and start scooping it up before that. Yeah, I think this would be defended pretty heavily, even in a capitulation event, like if it happens in 3 months or something. I think this would be defended, so I would put bear market targets somewhere closer to 470. Would be my guess. Yeah, I think this will be defended, and that's polka dot. All right, I think I said I was going to go after that one, or was there one more? XDC. Okay, I didn't cover XDC. All right, I'll do XDC, and then I gotta get going. So I think the question with XDC is if Bitcoin were to hit 33K on this rally. This is a tougher chart. Lower high, lower low on daily. This might not rally with Bitcoin very much. It would probably do under 10%. This isn't ready to rally. So if Bitcoin does rally, this won't go over its local high. It won't go over that. I think best case it would hit this line. Best case 4.7 cents. Absolute best case. This isn't ready to rally. So if Bitcoin rallies, this might not really do anything but stay in this range. Like, honestly, my first guess would be it stops at this wick high here. Actually, that's about right. So that's still about that's about 4.6 cents. And hopefully that's 10% or less. It's about 10%. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I think this would underperform Bitcoin structurally, but from a percentage basis, it would be about the same. This just isn't ready to rally. And if a coin can rally because of Bitcoin, but it turns on a dime when it wasn't naturally itself, like its own chart ready, but Bitcoin picks it up, it's going to rally less than it would have had it been ready. Like Luna's recent formation on the 1 hour chart was really ready for a big move up. And I even caught a backfill I did some tricks with liquidity to make, I think I made it go down a little bit to fill my orders. But anyway, I did some liquidity tricks, got my backfill perfectly, and it took off. It was just the most perfect trade. But so this is not ready. So I would guess 4.6 cents would be the target for XDC. And again, bear market target, I'm going to put somewhere closer to 2.5 cents is my bear market 2022 target. And again, this might bottom out in 2023. Like, altcoins often bottom after. So I'm only saying for 2022. It could go lower in 2023. I'm telling you. Bear market target. And that would be after a huge rally, though. Things would rally up with Bitcoin's bottom, and then when Bitcoin makes a macro higher low, altcoins will then bottom even lower as Bitcoin makes a higher low. So for 2022, though, I would put 2.5 cents for my target for this, and when I would be extra interested in becoming a dollar cost averaging person. So I'm not just buying a dip and then another dip and then another dip and I'm 90% down from here. No, not cool. I would begin being interested there at 2.5 cents, and that's XDC, and I gotta go. Hey, thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for being really flexible with the time. I didn't get very many complaints. And I don't know if this time will stick, but for this week, both Tuesday and Thursday, so next one on Thursday at same time, same place, 7 p.m. New York time on Thursday, I'll see you there. And I can't guarantee you next week will be the exact same time, but it's probably 50-50 at this time, and I appreciate all being here. Thanks for all the input and all the questions. And for non-community members whose questions I skipped over, I apologize, but you see I'm already a half hour over my time, 22 minutes over anyway, and I only answered the community members and super chats, so did the best I could. And if I could split myself in three to answer a bunch of questions, I would. And